I have a question for you this week. Do you ask enough questions? Now, I know that might seem a quirky little question, but I do love quirky questions. The reason that I am asking you this is because I think that questions are one of the most powerful tools that you have in your business, and they have loads and loads of benefits to them as well. So let me explain a little bit more what I mean, and also share with you some tips on how exactly you could use questions in your business to really help you. So, the simplest of senses of why questions are such a good thing is that they actually provide you with huge leverage just in the simple principle of asking a question. Because if you think about it, a question is one sentence, maybe two if it's quite a complicated one. But what you're likely to get back in return is lots more than one or two sentences. You're likely to get information that's in much more depth, is very informative, and ends up leaving you with much more value than your one little question. So they're really, really insightful in that way. They help you to uncover information, and they can really help you to learn as well. You can learn about your potential customers, you can learn about why people might buy from you, why they might not buy from you, what they like about your business or your industry, or who knows what. So here are 3 ways that you can really make use of questions in your business. The first one is to understand much more about your ideal client. So you can use social media to ask people, what do they like about your industry? What would make them buy your kind of service? What would put people off using your kind of service? You can ask them about their motivations. You can ask general things about their background, all of which could be key things though that give you insight into who your customer truly is. You can find out about their buying habits, about their buying motivations. You can find out about what they think is a risk to do with buying from you or buying from your industry. And the power in that kind of information is absolutely phenomenal. So that's a really good way to use questions. And one of the key things to do with that is use social media. Get onto social media and ask lots of questions. Go and find some groups where your ideal client is likely to be hanging out. And that'll give you so much information that's really, really powerful for your business. The second way that you can use these questions is with potential customers. And I think one of the best ways you can use questions is when you're talking to a potential customer, they've expressed an interest in working with you. When you're getting to that point of, oh God, how do I talk them into it? Or how do I persuade them? Then questions are brilliant because they mean you don't have to give some big presentation or big spiel, as it were. You totally turn around the emphasis and you make the customer do all the talking. So you take the pressure off you. But by asking them lots of questions about themselves, about their business, about why they're interested in working with you, about any hesitations that they've got, you can really get to understand why they might or might not buy from you. You get to understand exactly how you can help them, so you can then guide them to make the right decision, which obviously we want that right decision to be choosing to come and buy from you. So in using them with a prospect, questions are an absolutely brilliant opportunity to really buy yourself some leverage. So they're totally ace in that kind of situation. And the third way that you can use questions is simply to get conversation going, to help you to actually build relationships with your network, with your social network. So, just asking vaguely business related questions in interesting social media groups or stuff like that. It's a brilliant way. If you start off a conversation, it's actually a really good way to get you seen. If you go networking, one day we'll be allowed out physically, but if you're Zoom networking or anything like that, by asking questions of people, it shows that you're interested. It shows that you actually have a genuine interest in other people. It proves that you're not just there to kind of sell. You're not just out for yourself. And it kind of shows you as somebody who is central, who is interested in other people. And sometimes it's a really good way to actually allow you to share your knowledge as well. So if you asked a question, I don't know, let's say you're a graphic designer and you asked a question, what's the colours of your logo and why, then it's very often you can drop a little tip into the comments. So when people say, oh, mine is blue, you can say, well, did you realise blue conveys blah, 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 blah? Or the similar things. As you can tell, I don't know the nitty gritty. But can you see there how you can ask a question? Don't do it deliberately to try and get people to talk about your industry or to create kind of inquiries, because that doesn't look very genuine. But just start conversation, and it's a great way to help you grow your network. So there you go. Questions, as I say, are one of the most powerful tools in business. They save you loads of time. They get the other people to do all the talking. They put all the effort in. You kind of just sit back and reap the benefits, which is awesome. You get to learn loads. You get to look informed and interested. It's an absolute win-win, happy days, and all that other kind of juicy stuff. So hopefully that gives you some thoughts on whether you ask enough questions and whether you could perhaps, spend a little bit of time creating a bank of questions that you could use in each of those situations to really help you. So, bit of food for thought there with some luck. We'd love to hear back from you about your favourite questions, and I'd love you also to share this video with anybody else you think could benefit.